same way. On the topic of vowels, English's long vowels tend to be handled pretty inelegantly in spelling reforms. There's this temptation to try to preserve the relationships between the vowels that were long short pairs in Middle English, like the fleece vowel being the long version of the dress vowel. As we all know, the Great Vowel Shift made it so that these historic pairs no longer sound very much like each other. It makes more sense in modern English to consider the fleece vowel to be the long version of the kit vowel instead, for example. Preserving these archaic pairs does have its advantages, namely that it allows some words to be spelled more closely to their current standard spelling. The problem comes when someone decides that a Middle Englishy way of spelling a vowel should be the only way to spell it. Invariably, words that are currently spelled in ways that make sense with modern English vowels always look worse when respelled according to imaginary Middle English pronunciation than words spelled in ways that make sense with Middle English vowels do when respelled according to modern English pronunciation. Tofu with double O looks worse than soon with double U. Kiwi with double E looks worse than green with double I. Cafe with AY looks worse than pay with EY. Any of the myriad of potential issues that come from using the Latin alphabet in a spelling reform can be completely sidestepped by creating a fully new writing system instead. A solution that works so well that it's basically cheating. A spelling system can't be unintuitive if nobody learning it has any intuitions for it. And the question is, what would I do? Part 3. The fun reform. I have made a lot of spelling reforms. Or at least I've started and abandoned a lot of spelling reforms. The ones I've actually published I largely created as jokes, like the etymological spelling reform I made that was briefly mentioned on the Enthusiasm podcast at one time. The other spelling reforms I've worked on, I either decided partway through designing them that I didn't like them, or decided shortly after completing them that I didn't like them. In fact, it's my own experience with creating so many spelling reforms that allowed me to better understand how I feel about what works and does not work. Earlier this year, I created my first spelling reform that I am actually satisfied with. It's called the Fun Reform. My goals are for it to be a fully